Hello, new field artists. I hope you're ready for a really fun art lesson today. Ooh, do you have to go take a nap? A little tired? Yeah, okay, all right, so I'm gonna go take a nap. So today we are going to make some really fun animal hand puppets that you can make from paper. And in these slides, you can learn a little bit more about two Japanese art forms. One is origami, which is the art of folding paper, and the other is called kirigami, which is the art of cutting paper. And we are actually going to do a little bit of both today to create our hand puppets. So I have some supplies here. You're going to need some paper. I have some colored paper here. I have some scrap paper, which is just some smaller pieces here. If you just have some white paper to work with, even if it's notebook paper, any kind of paper will do. It doesn't have to be colored. It can be though. And I have some scissors. I also have a glue stick. So those are some things I'm going to be using. I also have some markers here. And I'm really just going to be using my black marker for the most part. But you can get creative, and depending on what animal you transform this into, you might want to use other colors too. Alright, let's get started. So you're going to need a regular piece of paper, just like this. It is a rectangle. I didn't have to cut it or anything to make it a square. I'm just going to leave it like this. And to make a puppet, I'm going to be folding it into thirds, and that means into 3 equal parts. So I'm going to be holding it horizontally like this, and I am just going to fold one part up. So I'm folding the bottom up, and I can kind of tell where to stop because I want this top section to sort of match this bottom section right here. I'm not going to worry about measuring it and taking out a ruler and being really exact because I'm really just using my eyes to make that call. So I think that's good. And then, kind of like an envelope, I'm going to take this top part here that's free, and I'm going to fold it over like this. So I'm folding it over, and I'm really pressing down. I'm making that crease nice and hard so that it's going to stay like that. And now I have something that looks just like. Okay, the next step is I'm just going to turn it this way. So now I have a long vertical rectangle in front of me, and I'm just going to fold that in half. So I usually like to take the bottom and fold it up to the top. So I'm going to do that here. So I'm taking the bottom and I'm folding it up to the top. I'm making those edges match as best I can. And since now we're doing more folding, so it's getting a little bit thicker here, so you might want to use your fingers to even that out and kind of pull it back. And then you could put your fingers in the middle and just kind of slide to each side. And again, we're pressing down nice and hard so that the crease stays there. So now I have a smaller rectangle just like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these open parts here. So I have one part that's folded at the bottom, and then I have open parts at the top. I'm going to take the top layer. So I'm not taking both, I'm just taking the top layer and I'm bringing it down. So I'm folding this to the bottom, making it match, and pressing down nice and hard so I get that nice crease there. Press, 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 push, push, push. Okay, and then I'm going to flip the whole thing over, and I hope you can see, right here. And I'm just going to repeat that same thing. So I'm going to take this top part here, and I'm going to fold it down to match the bottom. And I'm pressing right like that, nice and hard. So you're gonna check to make sure that you have created, looks like the letter M. Of course, if you hold it the other way, you would have a W. So making sure that you've created this little kind of accordion fold just like that to make sure you've done it right. To test out how your puppet is going to work, you can simply pick up the letter M, and you're gonna notice that the top and the bottom sections have little pockets. So you can hold it like this. I have my thumb in the bottom pocket and a few fingers in the top pocket, and I can open and close just like this, and this will become the mouth of whatever animal I choose to create, just like that. So the next thing we're gonna start to do is add on, let me see if my bunny over here is awake from his nap. He was pretty tired before. Let's see. Oh, he's awake now. So we're gonna start creating things that you're gonna add on to your animal. So on this one here, I have ears, eyes, I also added some teeth. So in the slides in this lesson, you can see other examples of different animals that you might be interested in. But we're gonna continue. I'm gonna show you how to create this bunny. And I'm gonna use this green paper puppet I've started with. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to take is another piece of paper, and again, if you just have white paper, you can work with that. Maybe you want to use crayons, markers, or whatever coloring supplies you have at home to add pattern or design or anything like that to your white paper. Since I have this purple paper, I'm just going to work with that to start. And you don't need this whole sheet, so I'm just going to fold it in half, and I usually like to fold it the other way too. And this is a good trick if you don't have scissors. You can really just fold one way, flip it over, fold it the other way, and you usually can just get a pretty good tear just like that. And this doesn't have to be perfect because I really could just use a piece of scrap paper that's kind of smaller to create this, because we're going to be doing the ears first of this bunny. So I have a page that's about this size, and I'm going to fold it in half because I only need to draw the ear once. So I'm going to draw one ear, and since I have this page folded in half, when I go to cut, I'm keeping it folded, and I'm going to have two identical ears, two ears that are the same. So to create this ear shape, I'm going to be making this nice arch. So sort of like a rainbow that's kind of narrow. And I'm going to take a marker, you could use a pencil, I'm just drawing it out. And I'm going to go up and down just like that. And I'm going to take my scissors, and again I'm keeping my paper folded when I'm cutting, and I'm going up, and I'm always really opening those scissors nice and wide. And here's a curve, the top of this arch, so I'm moving my paper as I'm cutting. So we're doing two things at the same time. It could be a little bit tricky, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So now I have two identical, so now I have my two cut out identical ears, and before I glue, I just want to give it a little detail. So I'm just going to take a marker and just kind of like doing that same arch but smaller on the inside, just to kind of show the inside of the ear. And you can use other colors, you don't have to use black, but I'm just giving you an example. And now I'm going to make a little foot on each ear, which sounds weird, but I'm just going to make a little fold at the bottom, and this is so I have something to glue onto the surface of the puppet. So just like this, you could tell it has a little foot at the bottom so that it can stand up in a way. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one. I'm just doing a tiny little fold back. Nothing crazy, just like that. And then I'm going to be able to put my glue here, and same place on the other one. And just when you go to glue, remember that when you hold it like this is going to be the inside of the mouth. So the ears, this is the top of the head, are going to go back here. So I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm going to put my glue down. A little bit is all you need. And that I put glue on was that little foot, that little folded piece that I made. One ear. It's gonna be so cute. Here's the other one. Glue on the foot. And then I'm gonna glue that next to the other ear. 2 ears that stick up. Very cool. And then I'm going to create the eyes. So just like this one has 2 eyes, and I'm gonna use white paper for that. Just a little scrap paper is all I need because it's not gonna be that big. In fact, I can just kind of rip a piece. And the main thing is you want it to be folded in half because again, we want 2 eyes that are the same, identical. So I'm gonna take, you could take a pencil or a marker or anything you have, and I'm just going to make a curve, kind of like that. And my paper is folded. I'm going to keep it folded when I go to cut, and this is the same way we did those ears. So I'm turning as I'm cutting. I'm being very careful. I don't want to hurt myself at all. And the same thing here with the eyes, I can add a little detail. So I can add the eyeball, maybe leave a little bit white to show a little highlight, maybe some eyelashes, or not. And I'm gonna do the other one the same way. Maybe a little bit white, eyeball. Eyes. And now what I have to do is make that little foot. So it's going to be smaller because it's a smaller piece to work with. That little fold, and that's where the glue is going to go. So I have my glue stick ready. A little bit of glue. And I'm placing one eye about here. And I really like that pop-up element of this too. It's really fun. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other eye. A little bit of glue. And that fold, that little foot, they're kind of hidden in the back. So you don't even see them from the front view. So just like that, I have my 2 eyes. And then what I can do also with my marker is draw a nose, which I can use, hope you can see this, a triangle to do the nose right about here, like an upside down triangle. I can color that in, and then I can make a little line that goes down there, and then maybe a few whiskers, just like that. So I'm almost done, but there's one more thing I want to add as a little detail, which you don't have to do, but if you're making a bunny, you might like to do this, is a couple of teeth that are going to show down here. So again, I'm going to go back to my white paper scrap, and this time all I have to draw is a rectangle, not too big. There's my rectangle. It's going right off the edge of that white paper. Make sure it's folded. And then I'm gonna cut that out. So I only have to draw once, I only have to cut once, but since my paper is folded, I get 2. So then I'm gonna cut that and cut that. Again, it's small, I have to be careful. And one more time, we're gonna get so good at making these little tabs or little folds or feet. Little fold. Oops, there's the fold. I can stand up. And the other one. Little fold. And I can stand up. And then I'm going to put the glue on those little tabs, and they're going to be stuck right under here. Then I can test the whole thing out. Again, you're putting fingers in the top pocket, thumb in the bottom, and then you have your very own hand puppet made out of paper, origami. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed doing that, And again, be sure to see all the slides. There are a few different examples. If you're not wanting to do a bunny, you could do a unicorn, you could do a dog, a cat. I would love to see your creations and what you've come up with. So please make sure you take pictures and post them on the stream for us to see. And I will see you later.